Good morrow to you all. You have fallen on bad times.
Brought to you by the Royal Holloway Shakespeare Society.
You join me, Theo Dudridge.
And me, Lynn Biles, as we bear some bardy truths.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Bad Times. If you hear any outside noises, that is because we are recording this episode in my garden. This week we are joined by the latest president of Savoy Opera Society and also the dramaturg for Shakespeare Society's upcoming Fresh Folio, which is what this episode is going to be primarily dedicated to, Bernice Saunders. Say hi, Bernice.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today.
It's a pleasure, The sun is shining, we have a nice sky. It's an incredible time.
A beautiful time.
You'll have to see it. So, Bernice has been involved in quite a number of societies in her time at Royal Holloway, including Savoy Opera Society. She is now the president, as I mentioned earlier. She has also dabbled in Shakespeare Society. Have you been in any others, out of interest?
Done a bit with MTS, a bit with
Of course,
dance,
yes.
a bit with players, kind of done a bit with everything,
She's
really.
a jack of all trades. Been bouncing around all the societies. You'll have to see it.
We do.
You'll have to see it.
Yes.
So you are currently an MA screenwriting student. So you've been consistently roaming the lands of Holloway for a long time now. How are you finding your MA? What's it been like?
I'm loving it. Obviously, my 4th year here, been here for a while. But I'm loving it. Doing an MA has given me the chance to kind of give back to societies more this year.
Incredible stuff.
Which is really good fun. MAs are obviously, a lot of hard work and dedication, but if you're passionate about the subject you're doing, which I am, I love screenwriting, if you're passionate about that, it's such a joy and it's a wonderful experience, so I'd recommend it to anyone.
You'll have to see it. I am looking into that as a possible MA next year.
Amazing.
But we'll see. As I also mentioned earlier, you are the new president of Savoy Opera Society. For those of you who don't know what Savoy Opera Society is, Bernice, would you like to explain a bit about what it is, and also how you've been finding being president on this committee this year?
Yes, so I'll start off talking about a little bit about what we do at Savoy. So we are the home of Gilbert and Sullivan on campus, and we do a lot of their shows. So we're talking things like The Mikado, Gondoliers, Patience. This term we've got the Pirates of Penzance, which is going to be an incredible show. And next term we are taking HMS Pinafore up to Harrogate for UniFest, which is a competition we love taking part in. So we kind of primarily focus on, Gilbert and Sullivan operettas. They're kind of very fun, a little bit silly, but so much fun to do, and it's such a joy working with people on those. We also do some kind of older musicals, so I'm talking pre-1940s, so things like Anything Goes.
Just anything goes. It's only anything goes.
Me and My Girl is a classic one we love doing.
Yeah.
All sorts of kind of older musicals that have a good old place in our heart. So that's kind of what we do. We put on shows like Shakespeare do. We put on shows every term. And it's always lots of fun. And obviously, as you said, I have the joy of being president this year, which I am loving. My committee is an amazing bunch of people who have been very helpful, and I could not do it without them. They are the most incredible group of people, and our members as well. We love them, and I find the experience amazing, just being able to give back to a society that has done so much for me personally, and giving back to the members that I love, and just getting to have a really fun experience as president. It is obviously a lot of organisation goes into it and a lot behind the scenes, but it's so much fun and I love it.
You'll have to see it. So, you are helping out Shakespeare Society in quite a big way this term, because you are the official Fresh Folio dramaturg.
Indeed.
Which is an incredible role. So, for those of you who don't know, I think every episode pretty much has mentioned this, but we are doing a Shakespeare performance event unlike any other that we've done so far within the society, called Fresh Folio. For those of you who don't know, Fresh Folio is a Shakespeare showcase event where you can perform just anything Shakespeare related, from a monologue, a duologue, if you want to write something original that's inspired by Shakespeare, if you want to do a sonnet, if you want to perform something from a Shakespeare-inspired play, you can do that. Or if you're thinking of bidding a show with us next year and you want to try out a concept and fit it around a scene, this is what Fresh Folio is for, because you'll get feedback on your performances and the piece, and Bernice, our dramaturg, is there to help you see your creations come through. Even if you just have an idea at this stage and you want to email us with that idea, if your piece gets accepted, we can help you workshop that idea up until the performance stages, and we can really help you see your vision through to the very end and make it come to life. So, after that ramble, Bernice, would you like to explain the role of the dramaturg, what exactly it is, and how you're going to work as a member of the Fresh Folio team?
Yes, of course. So, a dramaturg's role is, from my understanding, is to just kind of help with the understanding of pieces and really getting to the nitty-gritty of kind of how understanding of pieces can impact performances. It's really exciting to be on the Fresh Folio team, because the role of the dramaturg is really interesting for this one, because I'm here to kind of support pieces before even the submission deadline. If anyone has questions about their pieces, or kind of questions about kind of context surrounding their pieces, or kind of ideas they have but they're not sure how to kind of pursue, that is something I'm here to help with before submissions are even in. And then once we have kind of our pieces that we've chosen and kind of greenlit to go ahead, I'm here to kind of work with teams to create their scripts from scratch if they decide to do an original piece, or to help them cut if they've decided to do a scene that needs cutting. So I'm here to help with that. I'm here to help actors kind of with understanding of their lines and kind of making sure they really understand the emotions behind their characters and all that entails. So it's really exciting, just kind of every stage of the process. I'm here to be a helping hand to all different sides of the process, which is super exciting. And then obviously, as you said, we'll be giving feedback after the performances, so I will be kind of hopefully helping with that and giving some useful feedback to groups so they can kind of not only just perform these pieces once in Fresh Folio, but take them forward and develop them further and kind of, do some really interesting things with them further down the line.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. You mentioned the audition process, which is coming up a few days after the official piece announcements come up. On the 19th of February is when our auditions are for Fresh Folio. These will be in George Eliot. Thank you. These will be in George Eliot 103 and George Eliot 104. So the pieces will be spread across both rooms. You will fill out a Google form with a list of piece priorities. There'll be a post coming out soon which should explain a little bit more about how the process is going to work overall. But it's going to be super chill, unlike traditional show auditions where you have a panel of people who you present one thing to. This will be more of a casual discussion with the directors who want actors for their pieces, because you can also just submit a piece that you yourself perform. So if you want to say, I want to do a monologue from Macbeth, you can just put that forward and then perform it. But also, in terms of just regular auditions for this, if you want to direct someone performing, you can do that. But auditions are super chill. There will just be a conversation with the director, explaining a bit about their idea, their concept. They may get you to read something out from something they've written, just to play around with the idea and kind of get it on its feet. But yeah, there's a chance to audition for every single piece. You can audition for multiple pieces as well. But do bear in mind there is a limit to that depending on other commitments going on in the term. But that is all explained in our info pack, which is available on both our Facebook and Instagram page. So if you are thinking of submitting something, or if you want more information, you can check back at the info pack to find out more. But we will of course be updating the page with information very soon, so keep an eye out on that. So, going back to you in terms of your degree stuff, as I've said before, you do MA screenwriting. And don't worry, this does link to Fresh Folio. So as part of your degree, you've had to put together several kind of film scripts and coming up with concepts from films. Do you have any advice for how you kind of go about that process? What is your... How do you come up with ideas for the stuff that you have to write?
That is a really good question, especially when it comes to Fresh Folio and people who may want to kind of produce original pieces or Shakespeare-inspired work. That's a really good question. So for me personally, when I'm coming up with my film or TV script ideas that I have to do for the degree, I would say my number one piece of advice is to have passion for the project. Don't settle for an idea that you're not really sure if. You have to really kind of be invested in these characters you're creating, and be really excited about the piece, because you're going to pour your whole heart and soul into these pieces. So passion is key. And also go with your gut. I know, sometimes it's really scary if you have an idea. It's like, oh, well, how am I going to develop this? Is it going to work? Go with your gut. Just start putting stuff on paper. It doesn't need to even start at the beginning. Just start putting stuff on paper, and then you can structure things around that. You can edit as you go. But just going with your gut, getting something on the page that is tangible and you can read and see is really important, because if you don't start actually writing it down, it will never happen. And I think especially for Fresh Folio, find Shakespeare plays that you really enjoy and you know a lot about. Because we're wanting to do some Shakespeare-inspired works, look at the plays and sonnets that you know a lot about, because that will really help. That background knowledge will really help inform the pieces. For example, if you want to do a piece centred around Ophelia from Hamlet, you would really need to know that character in order to get into her mindset, and to create a monologue for her, for example. Hamlet, you'd have to know a lot about it, and that goes for any Shakespeare-inspired work or piece, to definitely have kind of that good background knowledge to inform your work.
Absolutely. And if any of you listening to this episode have only now just discovered what Fresh Folio is, there is still time to submit pieces.
Definitely.
By the time this episode goes out, you have until Sunday night to submit any final pieces that you would like to do. So if you are thinking of writing something in the next few days, you can do that. Or if you just have an idea for something and you want to pitch it to us, then you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, that is okay too. We don't need finished scripts, we just need the ideas and stuff like that. And I think definitely approach me beforehand with any questions, or you, Theo. We're both here to answer any questions before the submission deadline and really kind of help hone these ideas before they get sent in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you have any questions about what pieces you want to submit, any questions about how any aspect of the process will work, then that is what that is for. You can also just drop us a message on either the Facebook or Instagram page, and we will do our very best to answer you for that. But in terms of kind of other things you can do, so you can do device pieces, coming up with a concept for an existing Shakespeare play. Those of you who don't know, most societies at this uni, performing arts societies, have bidding processes to decide shows, and with most shows you come up with a concept based on something. For Shakespeare it's no exception, because of the unique position that Shakespeare plays are free to anyone. We're very open to the number of different ways you can put together a concept for a Shakespeare play, and Fresh Folio is a good way to kind of trial that out, because it is very difficult coming up with a concept for something to put on. So dramaturgs are a great way for kind of helping formulate your concept, because a lot of dramaturgy is understanding the text and criticising the decisions in order to kind of assure that they fit with the concept in mind. So I'm going to throw this question at you. Do you have any advice for people wanting to put together a concept in a scene, and how best to approach that and make it work?
Well, that is a very good question. I think this is the time to go for concepts, as wacky or weird or fun as they might be. This is the time to trial that, so I'd say don't be scared of trying things. This is the environment to do that, because you're going to get that kind of feedback, you're going to be helped with the development process, and if there's a kind of concept you've been sat on for a while, definitely give it a go, and we will help you through that process. In terms of coming up with the concept itself, I think definitely kind of thinking outside of the box and focusing on characters that maybe haven't been focused on, or kind of, I think a really popular one lately that seems to work really well and be a really good way to say some important things is modernising pieces, setting them in a situation that a modern audience will understand and relate to, and therefore as a team coming up with a concept, you will also be able to relate to it more than a piece that's set in 17th century France. Setting it in a modern day setting can be a really helpful way of approaching it, and saying some really interesting stuff on social commentary and the way you as a team view the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a lot of coming up with concepts as well, it's just being playful. If you've got an idea for something you'd like to try, whether that be setting it in a different historical setting or giving a certain theme to it, don't be afraid to kind of play around with it, have fun with it. I think it is important, if you are doing something historical or rooting it in a certain background or a certain setting, to do your research, because you want your idea to be as consistent as possible, but at the same time, for Fresh Folio, it's good to have that background knowledge, but ultimately you're just trying out something, so you can afford to be playful. And as we're going to keep emphasising, we're going to have some feedback sessions, so whatever you end up producing, whatever you however you kind of go about it. And it's also the beauty of doing performing arts stuff at this uni. Everything's a learning experience. You don't have to get everything perfect the first time round. You will learn some things, and Fresh Folio ultimately is a performing opportunity, but also it's a nice chance for people to learn new things and put on stuff or get involved in things that they might not necessarily get the chance to do outside of regular main term shows within Shakespeare Society. Or if you want to join something that isn't traditionally kind of solely Shakespeare, because we're encouraging a number of different pieces for Fresh Folio. If you want to do a musical, do a musical. But at the end of the day, submit it, and we can help you put your idea into practice and help you drive it forward. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the news section of the podcast. So, Bernice, it would be unfair of me to bring you onto the show and not let you promote Savoy for the next few minutes. So the floor is yours. Fire away. What is GNS and Savoy Opera Society coming up with?
Oh, this is so exciting. Thank you. We've got so much exciting things planned this term. So this Thursday at 2:00 in Medicine, we have our re-taster session.
Nice.
This is the perfect opportunity for people who have never been involved in Savoy, or kind of have maybe not been involved for a while, to come in and hang out with a lovely group of people. We'll be kind of putting into practice what we do kind of usually, so you get to experience kind of what it is we normally do. We'll be performing some very exciting songs and adding a bit of movement to them.
Nice.
And really just having a really fun time. So that is definitely something to look out for. This term, our show is The Pirates of Penzance, which is super exciting. It's a really fun show, and the cast and crew are working incredibly hard on it. It's already looking like it's going to be an amazing show. So definitely look out for when tickets go up on all our social media for that. Because it's definitely not one to miss. It is looking fabulous already.
Incredible stuff.
And it's just so much fun. It will be fun for everyone to come and see. And then, excitingly, as I mentioned earlier, we are going back to Harrogate this year.
Woo.
Which is really exciting. It is a competition called Unifest up in Harrogate.
Nice.
We are taking HMS Pinafore up there, which is
incredible.
So exciting. So auditions and stuff like that will be held next term, which is super exciting. And we also have the opportunity to bid for that show, which is exciting. The kind of information for that will be going out very shortly. And the bids process works slightly different for this show, because we tell you what the show is going to be, and then it's like your guys' job to come up with a team for the show and a concept for it. And as with Fresh Folio, these concepts can be as weird and wacky as you want them to be. And it's just an amazing opportunity. So if you don't want to bid for that, definitely look out for the performance opportunities next term. We have options to be, cast in different roles, but we also have an unauditioned chorus, which means
nice.
If you don't want to audition, you just want to be a part of it, you just fill out a form and you're a part of the show, which is really exciting. And we've also got a lot of events coming up this term that will be really exciting, that are going to be announced in the next kind of few days and weeks, so all our social media will be announcing those, so definitely keep an eye out.
Incredible stuff. We also have a sword fighting workshop coming up, which Imogen Small is running, who is the director for Pirates of Penzance. So definitely check out and come and support all of Savoy's stuff. They've been an incredible help with Shakespeare Society throughout the years, and go show them some love.
Yes.
Just as a little reminder from us at Shakespeare Society for Fresh Folio, as I said earlier, submissions close on Sunday, so please get your submissions in. If you want to do something for the show, it would be great to see you. We have auditions on the 19th of February, just after we've announced the pieces, which should be a good old time. And then it's just working on the stuff. We also have the launch night for Fresh Folio. We have that coming up, and then we have the actual night for Fresh Folio on the 20th of March. So please come along and support us if you can. We also have a couple of other exciting Shakespeare events coming up as well. We have our Measure for Measure screening, which is coming up on the 20th of February. Which should be a fun old time. Measure for Measure was a production we did back in the summer, but we never got a chance to screen it, so we want to screen it, so we're going to screen it. Also, Macbeth have a film night coming up on the 16th of February during Reading Week. This is a fundraiser to raise money for the show, so please come along, it would be great to see you. And on that note, I think we'll end the episode here.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Bernice, for coming on board and embracing the nature. You love to see it. Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Bard Times. I've been your host, Theo Dudridge, and in the words of the Bard himself, the object of art is to give life shape. Take care, everyone.